What is up, everybody? We are back with some Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and we're here to take a look at should you pull on the new Final Fantasy XIII crossover Tifa and Aerith banner. If you're new to this channel and you guys do like what you see, hit the subscribe button, follow along with what we do here, hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts on the banner. Let's get into this. Also, as a quick reminder, guys, this is more designed for those people who are not whales or somebody who, you don't have that one favorite character you have to have everything for. My rule is that, especially for those of you who have that one favorite character, go ahead and pull for that character, guys. If you want to have everything for them, just make sure you can get to the costume for that character as well, because that's kind of the bigger prize for that. Again, this is designed for those people who are either light spenders or people who are not spending real cash at all, and they're trying to figure out how to best utilize their resources. That being said, let's get into this. So we do have a brand new look for the draw screens. It looks a lot more clean, and I do like the overall look of this. They even kind of changed how the banners look, so I think that's really cool. I do like that. So we're going to start first by looking at the ultimate weapon. Typically I leave these till last, because really you should never be pulling on a banner specifically just to get the ultimate weapon, because it is such a small percentage. But I do want to go ahead and start here first anyways. So we have a new ultimate weapon. We're finally done with Angeal's ultimate weapon. We have Cid's ultimate weapon, the Venus Gospel. So we're just going to go ahead and look at this if you have this completely maxed out, because you only need the one copy anyways. So it's the Call and Response is the name of the ability. You're going to deal 2,000 physical magic non-elemental damage, which is pretty on par for most of these weapons. It's going to be applying a physical weapon boost to the command and ultimate command abilities, as well as magic weapon boost for at 30% for a total of 60 seconds to each ally. And also is going to be giving +2 ATB gauge to all allies as well. That's again, a nice solid thing. Aerith's weapon does the same thing in the realm of giving ATB, except I think it gives 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3 ATB gauge. Okay, that's what I thought. So it's going to give 3 ATB gauge in that sense. So, but it's doing a lot other things as well. The one gives a full heal. This one's going to be doing that ability damage, which is awesome. It's also going to be giving you a buff debuff extension. Now this is not the Arcanum, this is just adding into the actual buff debuff. So at 22 points, you're getting an extra 80% effect duration to your buff and debuffs. And then during any sigil break phases, when you actually get the stream phase activated, you're going to be getting haste for a total of 15 seconds, which again is going to be a nice little boost right there. Let's take a look then at Tifa. So, I mentioned this in my update video. I don't necessarily agree that Tifa got Lightning's outfit. I get why they did it, because they're trying to kind of, use the feminine look for Tifa, showing off as much of Tifa's figure as possible. But when you really think about Final Fantasy XIII and you think about Tifa, she would match more up with Snow. The fact you've got this monk-type character for both. Again, I do understand why they did it. I just don't necessarily agree that it matches her, and how she is. But if we look at the costume itself, I mean, this is 100% Lightning's outfit. Like, it looks like Lightning from Final Fantasy XIII. Complete with the pouch on the side here, the leather skirt, the open top here with the the turtleneck type zip up underneath, the bangles on the side, the gloves. This looks like Tifa, or looks like Lightning. They've even given that pink hair that Lightning has. So overall, did a really good job with the costume. Like I said, my biggest complaint is when you look at what the costume and weapon do. Like I said, this would definitely be more Snow. Because we look, and this is going to be an ice ability thing. Lightning is called Lightning for a reason. Her main kind of shtick was lightning. Snow was ice. So anyway, that's kind of my biggest hang up with this. So looking at the R abilities, this is going to be providing physical and magic defense, which is great, plus 20%. Nice solid stat there. Soldier's Valor here is going to be giving the magic ability damage plus 20% when that command gauge is full, HP 15%, and then ice damage 30%. So this is that Ice Arcanum 2.0 with that HP plus. Again, it's a decent outfit. Is it crossover decent? That I'm not 100% sure on. I really don't feel like there's anything crazy with this that we haven't seen before. And I would rather use some of her previous costumes over this. And not that it's bad, but if you don't have like one of her Omni Arcanum outfits or something like that, and you're looking at making her an ice user, this is a good armor. Don't get me wrong, it's good gear. But I think there are some better options that have already existed that if you already have them, this is not needed. Let's take a look at the gloves. So we have the Army of Strikes here, Lightning's Gloves. This Army of Strikes at 5-star, it's going to do 600% magic ice damage to a single enemy. It's going to be reducing ice resist by low to mid for 15 seconds. And as long as your HP is 70% or more, you're going to get exploit weakness at 15% for 15 seconds. Going to be providing magic attack and ice potency, which again I do kind of find somewhat weird for a crossover weapon. I would have expected this, instead of being boost magic attack, to have been like a boost magic all, because we have a lot of these type of things. Another thing I could have seen it being was a boost magic ability potency, but I don't know. It is what it is. This is going to get stronger though as we go up. So if we get this thing up to OB1, it's going to go to 720% magic ice damage. That ice resist is going to go low to mid still now for 20 seconds. The HP threshold is still at 70%. You're still getting that exploit weakness at the 70%. It's going to last for 20 seconds as well, but it's going to be at 20%. So has gone up 5%. So again, nice little boost there. You would be main-handing this thing. I'll get more into why with that here in a moment, but I mean, you're heavy DPS, you're getting this debuff as well as a buff to yourself. No reason not to main-hand this thing. You're going to be getting a boost magic attack of 42 points, so you're going to be putting you at 30% extra magic attack. Boost ice potency is only at 18 points, so plus 25%. S abilities, magic attack, and cross sigil, all at boost 1. Still shocked we have not seen more boost 2s yet. Outside of Lucia, she's the only one who has gotten boost 2s, and they were for the sigils. And she's been the only one who's gotten them, and she's gotten 2 weapons that have had it. I know I keep coming back to that and talking about that, but this is we're past 2 years now. We should have seen more of this at this point, in my opinion. Okay, what happens if you do get this thing up to OB6? OB6 is typically a nice little stopping point for these things, so 1080% magic ice damage to that single enemy. Ice resistance can be decreased mid to high. Again, still 20 seconds, that has not changed. The HP threshold is still 70% for your exploit weakness, but now it's gone up to 25% and it's lasting still for 20 seconds. Boosting magic attack is at 54 points. You're just 1 point away from having her magic attack completely maxed out. And that ice potency is now at 30 points. You're getting a plus 40%. Nice little solid spot to be, because keep in mind, you're going to be main-handing this thing. You're going to be casting this over and over. So really, this debuff is never going to fall off for the most part, because you're probably not going to not cast it outside of these 20 seconds and just keep it going. Same thing, honestly, with the exploit weakness, aside if her HP were to drop below that 70%, and stay below 70% for more than 20 seconds. That's about the only way you're going to be losing this exploit weakness. So again, this is a nice solid spot to get this thing at. If you do take this thing up to OB10 though, oh my, does it begin to do a lot more here. So 1340% magic ice damage. That is a huge number there. By the way, we're pushing almost 700 magic attack. Ice resist decreases mid to high. A little bummed with this. I would have liked to have seen this high to high, but I do understand why it's mid to high here. You know, I've been kind of harping on we should not be having mid to high things anymore. With as much as this weapon does at this point, I am fine with the mid to high here. And again, because you're going to be constantly casting this thing anyways, I really don't think that makes a difference. I do wish the HP threshold would have gone down to 50% at this point. The potency's gone to 30% for your exploit weakness, and it's lasting still for that 25 seconds. I don't care about the time, but I kind of would have liked to have seen this go higher too, 40%, maybe 45%. Again, just to really kind of push this whole idea of a crossover weapon. Magic attack has gone to 62 points. You've fully maxed out here, getting a plus 50% to your magic attack. Ice potency is at 42 points, so you're at 55%, but really, really close to that 70%. Slap on like a plus HP plus ice potency, and you can get this thing up fairly high the rest of the way. One benefit to this weapon is that it is a debuff weapon, as well as a buff weapon, as well as a DPS weapon. This is like combining, you know, Red 13's collar to reduce ice resistance, along with Tifa's daffodil gloves and her it was a physical ice weapon, but that physical ice weapon, this is like 3 weapons in one. Now the beautiful thing about that is it opens up a second weapon for Tifa. You don't have to have those daffodil gloves if you were lucky enough to get them, and you don't have to have those in that second slot. Now you can have something completely different in that slot. So maybe you can have another debuff type weapon in there, or just something that's going to help boost the R abilities just in that slot alone. You know, using something like if you've got her Bahamut gloves, for example, that could be a nice thing to use in that, for that boost magic attack all. I think it was her gloves, or was it? Yeah, it should have been her gloves. But you could put something like that, a boost magic attack all in that slot, and really get some extra benefit there. And then that opens up for now, okay, maybe I don't need to bring a Red 13 to be my ice resist down, because now Tifa's doing that. I can now bring in a secondary DPS, like Cloud with his magic ice weapon, or Sephiroth with his magic ice, and have that secondary DPS and really wreak some havoc there. And then, you know, Red 13 can be straight just a healer, whether I put in Aerith or I put in Matt. I can have a higher dedicated healer in that role now. So super nice weapon. Has a lot of utility, and like I said, helps freeze up a lot more space on your other characters. Let's take a look over at Aerith. So again, kind of bummed they both got the exact same costume. Again, it looks good on her. I'm not complaining about how it looks on her, though you can see there's a slight difference between how it looks on Tifa and Aerith. Tifa being a little bit more bustier in her figure, versus Aerith's more sleek figure. You know, it really just kind of sits right on her, versus kind of Tifa, it's kind of accentuating some of her details. But again, overall the costume I think still looks great. You got the pink braid going through her hair, though the hair on the back is a little to be desired. It just looks really choppy. Like, I feel like I'm looking at old, like, PS2 type graphics here, just with some of this hair just being like folds versus strands. First, like, you know, you got the front here, you can see kind of the strands of it, and then back here it's just blocks. Kind of weird, but... And then the weapon looks really nice, by the way. It almost looks like she's got a javelin here, like something Sid would use. But it is a staff for her, or a rod, sorry, I should say. So what is the gear doing for her? We have a boost PDEF to all allies, which is really nice for the escalation battle right now, as she will lower down your physical defense a lot. So this is going to be at plus 15 points. You're getting plus 20% to all allies defense. Soldier's Pride over here is going to be giving plus 35% healing potency, which I think is the highest so far. I'm going to say 20 or 25% was the highest prior to that. And you're also getting plus 2 ATB when the battle begins. This is a good way to start off by either buffing the party or debuffing the enemy while, you know, getting things set up and ready. So again, nice costume. Again, is it her best? No, not in my opinion. You know, she's got other things that are more useful. The Bahamut garb is a great one. You've got some of the other so I can pull up one here real quick. No, I'm looking in the wrong spot altogether. Gear. So like you've got the Bahamut robe here, doing the boost attack and Bahamut's protection. You could roll with the Festive Crimson attire if you had gotten this to give you reprieve, as well as this New Year's protection. There's that healing potency of plus 20. We do the Kimura dress, boost heal, buff debuff extension plus. You know, she has plenty of other options, and they're not bad options. But again, I don't necessarily think of this as her strongest gear. This is one as of right now, I'm not fully impressed by either's gear. And if I were to pull for these, at least at this point, the gear would just be for the looks. I'd skin it over something else. But let's look at the lightning rod here. Lightning's rod. So this is doing the enhancing rose. It's going to be applying magic damage bonus, as well as a this is just magic, I'm sorry. I remember something differently, I apologize. So when you're using your magic ability, you're going to be dealing bonus damage equal to 20% of the damage dealt, so you're getting an extra 20% damage. We saw this with, I think it was OG Sephiroth was the first to get this. And you'll see there's the two numbers stacked on top of each other. This is that bottom number. It's going to be given to all allies for a total of 30 seconds. And then when your HP is 70% or more, your PDEF, you're going to be increasing the PDEF on all allies from low to mid for 15 seconds. Again, this is nice to have for the escalation battle as she lowers your defense a lot. Magic heals cast. It's only a 5% magic heal, but that's fine. As we're going to see down below, you're actually going to get a healing materia slot. Also, the good thing to note is on its first use, you're going to increase your command gauge by 50%. Again, this is going to help you get more damage right off the bat. As soon as that thing gets full, you start doing more damage. It's going to offer a boost heal, buff debuff extension, magic attack boost 1, heal boost 1, and cure all. This is a great thing to have because the heal is only 5%, so this is going to make up for it. Now, because of that, I could see you main-handing this weapon, so I'm going to look at all the stats from the perspective of main-handing it. So let's say you get this thing up to OB1. You're still going to be doing 20% extra bonus damage with the magic ability. That has not changed, but it has gone up to 40 seconds. The 70% threshold has stayed the same. PDEF's still only low to mid for 20 seconds, so you have gotten a 5-second increase here. Your healing potency's gone up by 1%. Again, this is really kind of negligible for the most part. It's just a little added bonus, and that 50% is still the same. Again, your main heal is going to be coming from right here. Boost heals at 42 points, so 42 points is going to put you at plus 60% to your healing potency. Your buff debuff extension's at 18, so 80% to your buff debuffs. Taking this up to OB6, you're now at 25% of this bonus magic damage for 50 seconds. This is lasting a very long time at this point. Your PDEF increase has gone from high to high, so you jump from low to mid to high to high. And this is kind of why I was kind of arguing a little bit for Tifa's, that it should have gone high to high by OB6 or at least OB10, because this does a lot of stuff too, and it's getting that extra while hers did not. It's going to last for 20 seconds, so that time has not changed, but you've gone the higher buffs. Magic heal cast 7%, again kind of negligible, but now the increase of the command gauge has gone to 75% on that first use. I mean, that alone is almost maxing this thing from the very get-go, especially by the time you get your 4 ATB to cast anyways. This is gonna completely fill that command gauge. Boost heals at 54 points, so now you're 1 point away from the 80% to your healing potency. Buff debuffs at 30, so you're at 120% to your buff debuffs. And if you take this thing all the way up to OB10, you're now getting 30% instead of 25% to that magic ability bonus damage, 60 seconds. Again, this is lasting a really long time, especially when you take into account your buff debuff extension. The PDEF increase is still going to stay high to high, but for 25 seconds. The healing potency is staying at 7%, and the command gauge is still staying at 75%. Honestly, OB6 isn't terrible to get this thing to. OB10 isn't going to offer you a whole heck of a lot more, in my opinion, outside of more R ability. So OB6 would definitely be a good stopping spot for this thing. Boost heal is at 62 points though, so 62 points is going to keep you at that 80%. Buff debuff extension is at 42, so it's going to put you at this 150%, but just a couple points shy away of 180%. So the question becomes now, do you pull on this banner? I don't think it's necessarily something you need to pull on right this second. I would wait and see a little bit more what's going to come. Obviously, we're going to be expecting at least one more banner. I'm assuming two more banners based on the whole Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3 thing they were talking about with this Draw 1 and the tokens we're going to be getting. So I'm assuming we're going to get a total of 3 banners. This one is a double banner, which makes it a little weaker as a limited banner. Because you can't wishlist these things, so you're spending a lot to get these. So when we look at the stamp card, you've only got the 2 on the first page, you've got 3 on the second page, and then just 1 on page 3, and then you hit EX. I mean, so for a limited crossover banner, let's assume you wanted to focus on one character. For a limited crossover banner, now keep in mind this is going to get you both costumes to go this far, but to get to page 3, stamp 6, you have now been only guaranteed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You were able to get 1 weapon to OB6 guaranteed. That's 30 stamps. That is terrible. There is zero reason we shouldn't have had 3 weapon stamps on this first page and at least 4 or 5 on the next 2. That's where that should have been. The stamp card is super weak in my opinion, which makes this even less desirable to draw on because of that. So for me, I do have a free draw, if you will, because of these stamps. I am considering pulling to try to get Tifa's weapon here. Because even at just a regular 5-star, I mean, 600% magic ice, lowering the ice resist and giving herself that physical weakness could be beneficial. Again, not super strong at all. OB6 is definitely a thing for it, but I wouldn't mind just having a copy of it. It'd be cool if I could also hit Aerith in the same go. Very unlikely, and same thing to get Sid's ultimate weapon in that as well. But for me, what I would suggest is, unless you're just crazy, or like I said, you absolutely love Tifa, absolutely love Aerith, which sucks because I like both, I would suggest waiting on this banner. I would say wait till at least the second banner, see what kind of happens there, and then even potentially wait for the third banner until we have an idea what's coming, and then make the decision, do you pull on this banner versus the other 2? That's kind of the smarter play on this one at this point. But if you do pull on the banner, it's not a terrible banner. The weapons are the better part. Like I said, I feel like the costumes are a little weak, but the weapons themselves are really good. Especially, like I said, about OB6. Tifa's would be about the only one I could consider saying, yeah, you can get that one to OB10, but OB6 is a great spot to have that. Aerith's definitely OB6. And I think you'd be set, especially if you're somebody who doesn't have a strong magic ice team. This could be a really good banner to pull on to help kind of supplement that. And that's my thoughts on the banner, guys. Let me know down in the comments below yours. Again, do you agree with my analysis of the banner? Do you think I gave the weapons too much credit? Do you think I didn't give them enough? Same thing with the gear. Let's start that conversation down below. Like I said, they're not a bad banner. I feel like they could have been a little stronger. So that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching, guys. And again, if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. All along with what we do here, hit that like button, comment down below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.